I mostly share it as I'm just an entrepreneur like you guys. So we face challenges. We have to raise capital for our business. So that's one thing I love to connect with you guys on. Also, Able, the purpose of Able is we created several products that help fund early stage and growing companies. And our observation was that in general, what banks used to do for small businesses has really dried up. So lending from banks to small businesses is down 42% since 2008. We think that's a huge problem for people like you who are trying to get your first 50K in the door. So we built a few products which are structured as low interest loans that we think can help you guys be able to grow faster. So the way it works is you come to us, we get to know you and your business, and we create a platform that lets you basically blend checks that we write you with checks that you raise on your own. So we might come back and chat a little bit more about that later, but essentially we built some tools like an angel list or like a new debt product that helps more companies grow more quickly. Mario on our team lives in San Antonio. It is awesome. If you don't know him, you should. But we'd love to chat more with you guys about that later. There's also some more information on Able in the autoresponder email. So right now, if you guys haven't pitched publicly, it's intense because it's like you're putting your baby up there. And in this case, I have the easy job because I just sit down and if you don't like what I said, it doesn't matter. I'm not even going to know. But in this case, we're actually giving this guy feedback. So, okay, do you know how long are you taking on this? Do you know? Do you need a timer? Okay.
How much time do I have?
Let's do this. Let's try 5.
All right, I'll go fast.
Let's race through 5. So, okay, to just get him fired up for this, can we just have like a big round of applause?
Thank you all very much. I'm really happy to be here this afternoon. Thank you to Evan. Thank you to Cafe Commerce. My name is Chris Turner, and I'm going to tell you about my product, SnackDot. How many of y'all have heard of micro markets? Can I see a show of hands? Awesome, a lot of you. So those of you who haven't, this picture here in the background, you can see a market that kind of, you got some snacks on a shelf, snacks in a fridge. It's like a vending machine, but it's open. So micro markets are the hot new thing in vending. The only issue with them is they're really expensive to get into. So vendors are often paying upwards of $5,000 to get into a micro market location. So SnackDot is disrupting vending by creating a no startup cost solution for a micro market. And we do that by using web and mobile applications. And we'll get into that in a little more detail. So let's talk about the growth of micro markets. It's really been phenomenal. So the industry leader in micro markets started in 2009. Their first year revenue was $44,000. Last year they did $23 million. This year they're on track for $30 million. And the market research companies out there are saying that the self-service technology market is going to grow to $32 billion globally by 2020. The issue with this is all this cool stuff is happening in micro markets, but the small businesses are getting no love. If you are in a business that's 150 or fewer employees, vendors do not want to talk to you because they have to make such a big investment to go into your space that it's just not worth it for them to come. So as a small business, your options are limited. You could maybe give away snacks for free, or you could hire a cashier to sell stuff, or you could buy your own vending equipment. All those are super expensive. Or you could just be sad and have no snacks, which is really terrible. So SnackDot to the rescue. So like I said, we built a no startup cost micro market solution. You could literally go out and buy a box of snacks, you print our mobile checkout sign, and people can check out on their mobile device. You can have this going in your break room in minutes. So we've only been on the market since February, but we have had huge market traction already. We are in 5 cities so far, about to expand to 2 more, and we've had traction with lots of different types of customers. Businesses, co-working spaces, vendors, entrepreneurs, and nonprofits have all become our customers in this. And if we focus a little bit more in on the customers, we're really targeting businesses with 10 to 150 employees. There are a lot of those out there. Also, think about independent gyms. How many of you go to a gym, a yoga studio, a dance studio? If you don't see this in your gym, you should tell them about it because they're probably using a clipboard or they're not selling you anything right now. And they could instantly get this set up. Also, vendors are looking for a more affordable solution. They don't want to pay $5 grand to set these up. So they can come to me and they can use this as a superior solution to what they've got. Also, office coffee service providers, they're looking for a way to upsell their customers. They want to go in and they want to sell snacks, or they want to give you that cappuccino machine, but they get pushed back on price. So if they work with SnackDot, they can offer the employer customer a way to recoup that, to subsidize their costs. Our competition is actually pretty slim right now. The big players in the market are all focused on those $3,000, $5,000, $7,000 kiosk units. I don't think that they're quite interested in tapping this space yet, so we're kind of a pioneer in this area. But I do expect that as we get out and prove this, that other people are going to follow suit. How do we profit? First of all, we have subscription fees. Our one location plan starts at $20 a month. We also can collect a percentage of the market sales. So we collect 3% on our one location plan. And we've also introduced a snack delivery service, which is a request from our customers. You can actually order product through our website. We will deliver it straight to your location, and we're able to profit off that as well. This is our team. There's myself, Chris Turner, Frank Rodriguez, and Keenan Treat are software developers that work with me. And we've got a summer intern that's going to start in just a little bit. Thank you, Trinity.
Thank you.
Yeah. And she's going to help us with some marketing, which is going to be awesome. So as for funding, we think our next step is to raise a $1 million Series A fund. I just wanted to get y'all's reaction. We're not actually fundraising. So if we were going to fundraise, though, what it would be for is sales and marketing. Because what I've learned is it's one thing to create a product, but it's another thing to take that product and make it a business, and that's what we're really trying to do. So I appreciate your time today. I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback. If any of you are in any of those target markets that we're looking at, I would love to talk to you after this. I've got a lot of pamphlets and brochures. I can come give you a demo in your space. You can find out more at our website, www.snackdot.com, and you can find us on Facebook and Twitter /snackdot. Please like us and follow us. Thank you for your time.
Let's take a few questions. Put on your pretend investor hat if you were or are an investor. Hands up. Let's maybe take 2 or 3. If you were an investor, what questions would you have? And why don't you call them? Take 3.
Yeah, please.
Hi. Are you using like brand reps or sales representatives to get into these like gyms and yoga studios?
Not right
these
now.
areas? How are you getting in there?
So we either call, email, or knock on their door.
Have you considered using, the Lululemon concept where they have brand reps in different cities that work at those studios that want additional items in their stores to kind of entice gym goers to stay a little longer
Yeah.
when they're getting snacks and things like that?
You know, I haven't looked into that yet. I would love to do that kind of model, and if you know a lot about that, I'd be happy to talk with you. So my background is in software development. That's what I'm an expert at. Sales and marketing is new to me, so I'm really trying to get myself out there and get feedback and learn from people who know more. So if you could share with me, I would appreciate it very much.
I heard about your revenue. What are your costs like?
The great thing is it's a software as a service play, so the costs are very low. We have like a $20 a month hosting fee for our server, and if I signed up 10,000 users tomorrow and they didn't all ask me for the delivery service, my costs wouldn't be much higher than that, really. As far as the delivery side of things go, I have a network of distributors and delivery drivers, and there is more infrastructure and things required for that side of things. But really, overall, the costs are very low.
So you have a 3-person team, and you
Correct.
obviously want to expand that probably with the sales force at some point. What at a point where you and your other partners are making a comfortable living, what's your break even in terms of number of customers and the amount of revenue you have to do?
So we have a very small dollar product. So the break-even point, it's really hard to say because as a software developer, I've invested my time in this, right? Not so much money. If someone else came to me with this idea, because I run a software development firm, so we do web and mobile apps for other people. The firm's called Turner Logic. If you came to me and said, hey, I've got this great idea for this thing, I would have told you to go get your customers first, right? Because I wouldn't want you to spend all that money building it and then try to go get the customers. I'm kind of doing it backwards, right? So my break-even point, I don't know what it is because I don't factor in the time that I spent on it. So I would say I would be very happy when I get the first 100 customers on, and between growing from 100 to 1,000 customers, in that whole range, I'll be very happy. Once it gets beyond that, this is a really strong business.
So as a follow-up to that, I guess you and your 2 other people on your team, are you all paying yourself a salary, or you have other sources of income that are offsetting that expense for the company?
So the guys that work with me are on the Turner Logic team. I pay them, and I mean, it's my business, so I just don't take income.
Okay, just for the benefit of everyone, tell us what is the story of like where did the idea come from? Like how did it get moving?
Yeah, so as part of Turner Logic, I actually had an opportunity to work with some other vending companies, and I got to see like these micro markets and how expensive they are. And I was like, man, like what if there was a way that anyone could do their own micro market? And so it kind of came out of lunch with one of the founders of another vending company. And as a software developer, I love to build software that people want to use and helps people. So this was like a perfect fit because we've got entrepreneurs that this is like being an enabler. It's letting them take, I'll use a specific example. We've got a girl, her company is Katie's Jar, Andrea Thompson. She just set up a location in San Antonio Pets Alive, and she sells homemade dog treats through Snack Dot, which is so cool because like she's excited because this is like helping her business. She can't be everywhere, so she's putting these things. There's a couple guys that come to 1 Million Cups. Manny and Amos are going to get together, and they sell juice and like fresh fruits and things. They're going to start putting these in clinics. So it works for businesses to like provide an amenity to their employees, but it also works for entrepreneurs to run their own business.
Yeah. Okay, round of applause. Let's get the next guy up. We're gonna chat about this for just a second. So imagine if I had started the Snack Dot Dish with something like this. Here we go. Okay. All right. 5 years ago, I was a road warrior, traveling all the time, working on these huge consulting projects. I got to know the Marriott like a champ. I kept finding it so strange that late at night I wanted a snack, and there was never anything available. So I started staying at the Holiday Inn, and they had this crazy little marketplace in the lobby. I started digging into this and just realized the economics on this thing are totally crazy. I started doing some research. I asked some experts. They got access to these free reports, and I just learned I'm going to create a business here. I know it's crazy. I know you've never thought about building a new kind of convenience store, but once I saw this insight, I said, I'm an engineer. I'm going to scrap together this thing. So here's what I did. I talked to my 2 buddies. We got together. We started working on this thing. We did some of the economics. We built out the model. We found 5 test sites that we went to. We went and we pitched the owner of that little store. And we said, could we do this thing here? Would you consider paying us $1,000 a month if we thought we could generate $200 a month for you in revenue? Would that be interesting to you? You know what? We asked 5. All 5 said they would do it. Now, I know that's not representative cost of acquisition and probably can't scale, but we have a real sense that there's something here. You know, I'm most excited about this thing because let me tell you about this woman. She makes homemade dog treats. She's been trying to sell them on Etsy and Kickstarter and all these places, and she just can't do it. Well, she set up a little store that we enabled at PetSmart. And I was there on her very first Saturday. And watching her with this long line of customers right in front of her, seeing that this was a chance for her to sell this product in a way that she could not sell it anywhere else. So that's what we're building. We're trying to raise $1 million. We're leaving our jobs full time. This is a real deal. We're putting it all on the line. So I need you in for $250,000. Could I consider reserving an allocation for you today? Sip of water. Okay, so now here's the deal about that. So listen, that is not done in any way. Like, they're great performers. There are people called actors that make up all kinds of things, and they're great at raising money for multi-level marketing schemes, but they're really bad entrepreneurs. So I don't want to say any of that to say that all the fundamentals and things of the business that you guys have built are not important. In fact, you can only sell a story if there's something substantial to demonstrate it. I think a few things off the top of my head that stuck out that I was trying to pull forward there. So in the end, I was asking, like, where did the business idea come from? And often there's a pretty cool story, right? He was on some project thing with consultants and boring, yada, yada, then saw this crazy thing. That's a really cool origin story. A success story of a customer, that's also really cool. So thinking about that woman in the PetSmart, like, I'm going to remember that, hearing that pitch, that they're real people that this is directly impacting. The last thing I'll say here, and we'll turn over to the next presentation, is for ventures in this stage, which are a little bit in like kind of no man's land, not in the sense that it's not a real business, but it's like unclear if people are working full time, unclear if money's been raised. I think some of your questions about, like, are you paying people? Some of even the slides around, have you seen traction? We've had conversations in these 5 markets. When I hear those things, I'm thinking a little bit like, what's really going on here? Like, was this made for a business plan competition and it's kind of not really a thing? So the more that you can bring concrete reality to your timeline, the idea 16 months ago, went full-time 9 months ago, 2 co-founders working full-time now, but joining me full-time in 2 months when we close this thing, makes it more concrete that it's like a real thing. Okay, so next guy's ready? Any quick questions or feedback on him or that or anything while they're getting set up?
Good
Any
job.
thoughts? Sorry?
Good job.
Yes, that was awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's really cool. One really neat thing about it too is there's a fascination with any company that begins, and I don't think this. I know this will not be one that's like we're the Uber for. You guys hear that a lot. In Austin, we actually have now a need for an Uber for Uber. Not an Uber. But what's really cool about that is there's this cool book out by a woman that wrote this wildly successful essay on Medium, and it's on the distinction between should and must, like for your own life, like what should you do versus what must you do. And I can hear in his voice in the story of building that business, there was a must. Like he had this moment that just got him like insanely focused on this thing. And having that must instead of like, I'm an also ran other consumer app for Uber of Ubers. All right, Baehr, brewing. Let's hear it.
All right, guys.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Tim.
Jeff?
So we are Black Laboratory Brewing. Can I get an idea of how many people here drink craft beer? So quite a lot of you guys. So I know these 2 people do right here. If you've noticed, you notice that the shelf space is getting a little bit bigger, and craft beer is increasing, which is very interesting when you look at the statistics about beer in general, or about craft beer. Overall, beer has declined in sales last year by only about 0.2%, but it makes a significant difference, or a big difference. But craft beer itself has doubled in sales. So we're seeing that people are starting to stray away from that large market beer, that minimal flavored beer, and they want something more with flavor. Not only that, they're also wanting something local. They're wanting something that they can find with a story behind it, something that's produced in their own backyard, something that they can be proud of. And that's kind of what the mission that we want to do. I'll let Jeff talk about a little bit of our background.
So I'm Jeff Whitey. I have a background in chemistry. That's the degree I got out of college. Started working in a food science lab. It's actually where we met. We both had the same job. And then we moved on to a pharmaceutical company here in town. And our experience has been in science, quality control, and R&D. And from what we've learned, and just the experience of that, we've come to know that quality is a huge part of any company. You don't have a quality, consistent product, you don't really have a product. So with that mindset, we wanted to open up a brewery. Now, both of us have been loving beer since we could drink. And because of that, we figured, this is something we love to do. We started as home brewers. We've been brewing for about just over 3 years now, in basically perfecting recipes. So we wanted to bring our quality control background, our R&D experience to the brewing world here in San Antonio. We are looking to start up a production brewery here. I guess small-scale production brewery. If anybody knows about the sizing of systems, we're looking for a 10-barrel system. That's about the size that we want to start with. We are hoping to be somewhere downtown. Since we're a startup, we're not really going to be able to afford to start up in Pearl or over at Blue Star, so we're looking in other places. A lot of promising places are over on the east side, kind of by Alamo Brewery. This also brings us to the next point of there's a good chance that we can have a beer row here in San Antonio, or a brewery row. It looks like there might be other breweries that are going to be opening up over there, and it could just turn into an entire tourist area. So the location we don't have finalized or anything, but that's what we're looking at right now. So we plan, just like any other production brewery, to do 3 different forms of sales: kegs, cans, and a tap room. So kegs to the bars and restaurants, cans in the stores, and then have our own tap room where everybody can come and enjoy beer right there. So that's how we're gonna try to go about it.
Yeah, so we've accomplished quite a bit. So yeah, we've been brewing about for 3 years, but it wasn't until maybe about a little over a year ago where we actually decided to make that leap. A lot of home brewers, when you're making this stuff in your backyard, you start thinking, hey, this is pretty good, I can make a business out of this. But once you start making that leap and that commitment, it's a little bit different. So it's been about a year since we've made that commitment, filed for the LLC, formed an actual business, and I think we've accomplished a lot since then. So one of the major things was getting accepted to Break Fast and Launch program here, which taught us everything that we need to know about business. So we knew how to make beer, but we didn't know how to run a business. We got a great understanding of how to do that. They put us on our feet and gave us the tools to work with for that. We have won several state competitions and been recognized at a national level for our home brews. And we have also gotten quite a lot of research in our marketing. So doing tastings and stuff like that. It's a little bit harder when you're in alcohol. You can't just set up out of your house and sell to people, but we can give it away for free. And we've learned a lot from that. We've learned that some beers that we thought are going to be huge hits turned out to be duds. Others that we thought came up with the last second, huge hits. So it works both ways. But yeah, so we have an understanding and we finalized our 4 products that we want to do. So we'll be only serving 4 beers for that first year, and then later on we'll be going down and exploring other beer options.
So, since we're a startup, we need money. And this isn't going to be a give us money portion of this, but just to give you an idea. So the way we are planning to go about this is we're going to bring in some of our own money. Since we're still relatively early out of college, we don't have that much of a nest egg built up yet. But we're going to bring our own crowdfunding. We've actually already launched a GoFundMe. Moving along, we're trying to do some events to kind of help promote that. We had a launch party that got over 300 people at it, and getting the name out there. We plan on having investors and giving up a portion of the company. We probably have more than enough investors already, but to the point, if we can only get 2% of that, then we're probably still doing okay. And then the remaining of it is going to be looked after for a bank loan or an SBA loan. So that's how we're hoping to get our income. We have yet to formally talk and sit down with the bank. That is our next step and where we're at. So hopefully you guys can see us start growing.
Yes. Okay, investor questions for these guys. If you guys manage it, take 2 or 3.
Just, I would put your GoFundMe in the info, maybe instead of your link right now, since that's the first place. If someone is like, oh, Black Lab Brewery, how do I learn more? How do I give them money? Might be the next thing to do. So
Okay.
just swap your one link out maybe for another.
Okay.
Good job, by the way. Sorry to preface that.
No, yeah.
Is there an intermediary step between like home brewing and buying a 10-barrel system and signing a lease and putting up probably $250,000 worth of debt towards a business? Is there a way to kind of use somebody else's equipment to brew on the side or anything like that?
So one of the things that really got us thinking and kind of has what made it a longer process after we took the Break Fast and Launch program last year was figuring out how we wanted to go about this. Because to your point, there are intermediate steps, but basically starting at a 10-barrel system is almost the minimum you can do. The reason being is you can turn your homebrew setup, making 20 gallons of beer, which is actually pretty big for a homebrew, into a legal brewery. You can go rent a storage locker that has a water hookup or something like that. You're still going to need about $100,000 because everything has to meet code. For building purposes, you have to have the equipment and the permits, and then also distribute the product. And not only that, you're going to be brewing 24/7 just to be able to keep up with demand so that you can break even. We looked at that. We also looked at other ways of having a smaller system, having a brew pub. That just brought on even more cost because you have to manage a restaurant on top of the brewery. So the reason we went this route with a 10-barrel system is that it'll be oversized for us for the first 2 years because we're going to also keep our day jobs. So the intent is to have us run the whole company basically for the first 2 years, producing all the beer, distributing all the beer, And then after we can establish a market share, we can expand from there. Start hiring people for a tap room, start hiring people for more delivery, things like that.
Okay, round of applause. We got one. Okay, I'm going to save you my lame attempt at trying to articulate this business. I think there's some really cool components to it. Just a few pieces of feedback to this pitch and maybe some general points. So I think things that they did really well. Cool to see 2 co-founders involved, and I thought they managed the back and forth well. They were friends. This is how they met. They had a clear division of labor of what parts of the story they were each going to tell. I like that they had kind of this wonky scientific chemical background. So you had like, not just because you like to drink a lot of beer, but there was like a kind of a reason why you were interested in it. Great job of stating your needs, which you did multiple times throughout the pitch. You never know who's going to be in the audience, so make your needs known. People can't help you if they don't know what you need. And then I think you also did a great job of showing acknowledgments along the way. So when you get into programs or someone gives you an accolade or you win a prize or something, great ways to add to the story that customers actually really like what you're doing. So those are things that are awesome. These are some general things that honestly everyone can work on. Some phrases like "we've come to learn" is a phrase that you use. It can be great to find a way, instead of asserting something, to actually show and substantiate it. Like, we ran a survey, or here's a quote from a particular person. We as the investors are going to be skeptical of your assertions like "we've come to learn." Another thing is, you mentioned like that beer was a hobby, and I want to make an important distinction between being a hobbyist and a fanatic. A hobbyist is someone that isn't really serious about it. A fanatic is someone who can't sleep. Both really like it, but there's a really important distinction there, and I would not use the word hobbyist, and I do like the word fanatic. Two final thoughts. So you said things like, we've learned a lot. You know, sometimes you thought the beer was going to work, but then it didn't, and then others thought it wasn't, and it did. I think it's really important is to show that you have a system for learning. Like, you know that you're going to go make a lot of mistakes, but what's concerning is if you keep making the same mistakes or you don't have a system for processing the feedback from your attempts at acquiring customers or selling the product. The last piece, and this is a little bit more to the former case, is often it's easy, especially for non-financial founders, to get either intimidated by or buried in a slide that's got like a ton of data about the cash flow statement or balance sheet. In particular for technology companies, I really like a slide that very clearly shows your cost of acquisition and your lifetime value of the customer. So show that, yes, you know the whole financials of the business, but you can really boil them down to the 2 metrics that drive it. And in the case of your snack example, it's something like, here's our cost of acquisition. We're going to do direct sales to store owners. We're going to do direct mail and CPC for small business owners. And across those channels, we estimate the average cost of acquisition to get one of these installed is $4,000. Lifetime value of the customer is going to be your revenues minus your cost times the duration of the thing, or repeat purchases or churn if it's a SaaS product. And so you're going to say, we think we'll be doing $2,000 a month in gross profit for 6 months, given that they might change some other systems. So that's 12,000. So 12,000 over 4,000 is a ratio of 3 to 1. In that line, you're showing you really understand acquisition cost low, lifetime value high, drivers lifetime value are decrease your churn, keep the customers for a longer period of time, and increase your margins. Most founders get really buried in a lot of the details. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to divide it into thirds. This third of the room, so we're going to do some just open Q&A, hear from you guys. We're also going to eat. So let's start with this third of the room. If you want to go ahead and go get food, please go get food and come back. And then once they're kind of back, we'll then do the middle third, but we'll do just some kind of Q&A. People in charge, does that sound okay?
Yes.
Okay. Please get some food. You guys and anyone who's not eating, feedback on this, questions, or what's on your mind. We covered like way too much in that amount of time. I'm sorry. Yeah.